I was finishing a little chocolate snack, and then I got a notification that that Twitter flagged my going live tweet as sensitive content. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, hi friends. How's it going? How are we doing? This is interesting. I am doing great. I need to mess around with my light a little more because I've moved it. Nope, not off. That seems dark, but that feels washed out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, hi. I'm doing great today, honestly. Still very tired. I will forever be very tired. But, you know, that's okay. Hope you're doing well. How's it going? How are you? Plan today. Beat Choo Choo Charles. We're gonna do a win, I think. Probably. At least I am determined. I feel like that's possible to finish in a couple of hours. I was gonna go live later today because I planned on just doing my full 8-hour shift, but nope. Didn't end up happening. You ever do one task for so long that you feel like you can no longer do that task? That was me earlier. So we're doing something a little different, which is me streaming. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. I'm just here and I'm excited to be here. And Farley is here! Hi! Farley says hello. He wants to be pet, but he doesn't want to be in my lap. So he doesn't get pets. Yeah, we're gonna launch the game. Hi, sir. I will scratch your stupid little head for just a minute. Wait, our train looks different. Wait, menu train looks different. Menu train looks like our train. I didn't realize that as we upgraded the train, new things showed up on it. We got little horns now. Neat. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna like hop on in because I just want to do the thing. I just want to do the thing. Yeah. I have thoughts about this game so far. Which what? Thought I jumped for a second and I got very confused. Where am I going? Alright, so the whole, like, east side of the island. Done. Handled. Not an issue. I kind of want to go there, but to get there is a hassle. So maybe... Oh, but that's optional, isn't it? Okay, so we'll go straight ahead until we get here, in which case we'll go right? No. This is horrible and I hate it. I guess we're taking the long way. Alright. Yeah. Our train makes scary noises and I don't like it. Yeah, like I said, I think we can beat this today. It's not a particularly long game. Thoughts. I have thoughts about the game, which I will save until the very end. Ooh. But at the moment, I like the chase bits. I like when Charles shows up. That's pretty dope. The quests are very silly, which is kind of fun, but they're very boring. And they're so spread out. Oh, there's a Charles up there. Which could be a problem. I need to be able to switch tracks. Can't tell where he's going, though. Over towards us? Towards us. Yeah, kind of towards us, isn't he? He's walking away now. Yeah, I think I wish that there was more to do. The map is so big, and I get that some of it's so that you can, you know, use your train and not, like, not just follow the same little path over and over again, but it's like, well then, fill the world a little more. Because right now, it's a whole lot of nothing. And you know what? Maybe more stuff will show up. Maybe I'm wrong. But we'll see. Overall, I am enjoying it. I'm just definitely a little like, I've done everything. I'm collecting scrap for no reason now. Just a little lackluster at times. You know, all in all, that's fine. But I want there to be more to do. Especially with how large this map is. We're gonna be going straight for a very long time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to say at the moment. Sounded like it was stopping, which is incorrect. It's been fun. It's been a fun game. I've enjoyed it so far, overall. I just wish that there was a little more to it, you know? What's this? What's this? This is that mine. I do wish that the sneak, quote-unquote sneak mechanic that exists was an actual mechanic and not just me wiggling back and forth to avoid enemies that will endlessly chase me until I get back to my train and I can shoot them. I wish there was a way for me to do actual combat. If that is the case, you know? Just the one guy. Seems to be just the one guy. Not even worried. Get me in there. Get me in there. So yeah, it's like there's no crouch button that I have found. There's just the lean mechanic. I heard man. And let me tell you, this lean, very bad. I can't see shit. I didn't necessarily want to get the egg right now. That wasn't the plan. But I guess we're doing it. That's how we're starting stream today. Where do I go? Is it even worth it? Not really. Still gonna do it though, because I want the bit. I hate this mechanic. It's horrible and stupid, and I always do it too early. Every time. Fucking kidding me. Please! I hate it. I just want the bits in the box. It's fine. It's fine. We're cool. We're great. Everything is gonna be fine. See? It's just paint. It's just paint. That's all we get. Listen, I have the color that I want for the train. I don't need any more paint. What's here? Notes. Make sure nobody goes near the egg. If you see anyone that shouldn't be there, shoot them immediately. No risks can be taken. As soon as it finishes, kill it and bring the body to me. Okay. Didn't notice that at all, bud? Oh, there's a second lever around here somewhere. Where is the question? And I've been up there. So is it over here? Excuse me. Well, it's there. There's the other lever, I assume? How do I get up there? That's locked. I'll have to wait for him to loop around. Should be in this general area, right? It's not here. How do I get there? Game? Hey, game? Hey, game? I don't know how to... I don't know how to door. How does one door? There wasn't anything else in here, right? It's just the box? Just the box. Am I blind? Am I just missing? Can't open that. Scrap keeps appearing in front of me. Do I need to activate? Did I need to go there first? And by activating the lever, I've barred that from me being able to get it. Is that what's happened? Well, there's a Charles nearby. Alright, sir, you gotta... No! No! And he's just gonna follow me for... I'm not screaming! Sir, if I were screaming, you would know. Well, I might as well get... Yeah, I might as well get the attention of the other guy, too. Let's just take them both out, why don't we?
You wish you never came here.
I already wish I hadn't shown up, actually, but thanks. Bye! Alright. Great. What a wonderful time we're having right now here at this place. Oh, jeez. I was thirsty and my water bottle is very large. Okay, well, on the plus side, I can just run around this area now. Don't have to worry about no one. Oh. Where is the guy?
You're in the wrong place, my friend.
No, I think we're okay. No, I think it's fine. Oh. Oh. Huh. Do I... Oh. No, he took the egg. Ugh. Okay. It's fine. We'll just do it again. Are the guys still dead? Oh, and look at that. I've reclaimed the 2 scrap that I lost. I'd like to get in here as quick as possible. Okay, so we just don't go in there, is what we have learned. Is don't go in the room with the man. Because it is indeed just a room. And it probably only has scrap in it, so we don't particularly care. Unless we do. Kinda care.
Hey!
Ah! Sir. 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 Didn't realize he had heard me running down that hallway. Should have guessed, though. Oh, he's still coming. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Stop right there!
No, I don't think I will. You know, the other thing is, these eggs, right? This Warren dude, he really wants these eggs. For somebody who is so gung-ho about making sure that he gets these eggs. Oh, that's Charles. He, like, is very bad. This is kind of funny. Is he bored? Or did he got stuck? Is what happened. Charles, you gotta go, bud. Yeah. Also, all of the guns suck. let me tell you right now. Guns bad. Let's go back a little bit. We've missed like everything. We'll stop at red because it's kind of between everything. Oh, I should probably heal my train while I'm thinking about it, though. Yeah, I upgraded our train fully very quickly. Farley, was that you, or was that someone knocking at the door? I assume it was Farley. Hi. What is this?
So, the fabled hunter has finally arrived.
What it?
You know, my late husband built a gun to help fight Charles, but Warren's goons stole the barrels and took them up to their camp. Bob was such a brave man. Much braver than you, I bet.
Is that necessary?
Take what I have left of the gun and steal back those other parts. You can put it back together to use against Charles. Just do me one favor, will ya? If you do end up using it, name it Bob, in memory of my honey.
Okay. Whatever you say, man. Won't even let me in the dang house. Yeah, with as much scrap as we get, I feel like we upgraded our train way too quickly for very little payoff. It's so far away. Let's go this way, because it's the reverse of the way we want to go. And there's an optional mission over here, and I do want to kind of I just want to do all of it. There's so little. I might as well do everything. What is this? The municipal building. Hi. Is someone here? Y'all got any scrap? Give me that. And there's a note. Mutiny meeting notes. I've discussed our latest battle plan with everyone, and nobody had objections. Whole crew knows what to do, and we'll set the track's directions accordingly when the time comes. All the Archivist needs to focus on is pummeling the beast, keeping his distance, and getting Charles to his weakest point. My father should be back within 2 days, at which point we can supply him and the hunter with the keys and other supplies we've gathered. I never wanted to take such harsh action against Warren and the other miners, but he's twisted our arms too long. Charles needs to go, and Warren won't stand in our way. Alright. Oh, I'm sorry. May they are chapped. Hi, Farley. He says. You're so whiny. Yeah, you. Evo's a crier, but you're whiny. Alright, what's this? Stakeout summary day 3, location 4. I've been staking out this area for days, and Charles has never crossed the old wood bridge. Somehow that beast is cunning enough to know it's dangerous, but if he's angry and desperate, he might just chase someone across it, then bam! We use John's bombs to blow the whole thing up, and Charles falls face first into the canyon. If the blast doesn't kill him, the fall surely will. It's mighty presumptuous, but hey. Hi, do you have a quest for me?
My father told me about.
Oh, you're Paul?
You're disappointed to see that he chose to stay on the mainland.
Oh, yeah, about your dad.
Not to say that your help isn't appreciated, but we could have used his aid as well.
Hey, my guy. My hands are cold. Give me a second.
If you haven't already heard from the others, the mine boss Warren is protecting dangerous monster eggs that could lead to catastrophe. While our main plan is to summon Charles into a duel and fight him to the death, we've devised a perfect trap as a precaution that may help defeat him.
Okay.
Go attach these remote explosives to each of the support pillars under the wood bridge out there. Then meet me back here.
That bridge? That bridge. That bridge. You want me, an archivist, to attach bombs to that bridge. Is this it? Is this all I'm doing? Okay. Well, why Couldn't anyone else have done this? These dudes are a bunch of lazy folks. Let me tell ya. They're not doing nothing for themselves. Alright, hi Paul, your dad's dad? Your dad's dead and the bombs are planted.
Weakest bridge on the island. So if Charles ever crosses it, we can blow him sky high.
Okay.
I'll be on standby to detonate the charges, but it's still up to you to summon and fight him.
Okay.
Here, take this. It's the key to the temple.
Parts.
Once you think you're prepared enough, you can break in and fight the battle of a lifetime.
Okay, well. Great. I am still missing an egg, though, so there were only 3 eggs, right? We need to go there so that we can get the next mission. I could just walk there, but also consider we move train forward a little bit. You know, just so it's closer. Hello? To Mr. Reverend. Today's sermon was a true inspiration during these trying times. Very well thought out and thorough in every manner. I believe I speak for the whole congregation when I say that we admire your confidence and steadfast wisdom as we grieve our lost brothers and sisters. Thanks, Mr. Reverend. Said no one ever. Hey, more paint. Just what I want. Sermon outline. God is very, very mad, I think, probably. Charles may be devil. 96% certain. Always sneaky. Spider versus snake. Spiders have more legs, usually. God always wins. Hopefully? Sacrifices. Ask for volunteers. Don't cry a lot. Only a little. Closing prayer and then clean up. That sounds about right. Hi, stars. Thank you for the lurk, friend. Hope you're doing well. Where is... Oh, they're over there. I've just gone into this building for no reason. I see. There's a big building at the end of the island over there that we could maybe look at, but... What's the point? That... At last night's meeting, Greg told us a crazy conspiracy about Warren trying to use spider trains for world domination. As part of the crew that worked in the temple, I'm far from convinced. While the prism was extracting the life energy from the batch of eggs, Charles attacked us for the first time. Not only did he fight like hell while the eggs were being destroyed, but he nearly doubled in size as he fought, as if he were consuming the energy. His legs grew larger and stronger while his face grew more distorted, right before our eyes. Those of us who survived couldn't even fathom what we witnessed. That was when Warren hid the eggs and ordered us to protect them. That was when he began, evacuating people. That was when everything turned the worst. I know Warren has plenty of skeletons in his closet, but I can't help thinking he might actually be looking out for us this time. So Eugene and Paul are
all your radiant glory.
Evil, actually. Also, thanks, Gail.
With a key to one of the mines containing an egg. But before I give it to you, I have to warn you about something. There's an ancient shrine on the island, a pyramid of sorts, with a curious prism located at the top.
Uh-huh.
The prism seems to have been designed for one purpose, to destroy monster eggs. 3 slots are carved into the prism, which perfectly fit the eggs.
Yeah.
When fully loaded, a massive beam of energy is emitted, seemingly drawn from the eggs themselves. The mutineers hope this event will lure Charles to a mortal fight as he comes in defense of the eggs. Now for the real warning. Charles has the ability to absorb energy from the burst, strengthening and enraging him.
Uh-huh.
I saw it once before, and he may become even more dangerous this time. However, it's not my place to oppose, despite the danger. So, here's the mine key. Once you have retrieved all the eggs, and the key to the shrine, we might just be able to end this hell.
Okay. Great. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, there's like a building and a dock over here that we haven't looked at, but I don't wanna. Okay. Take a left and take a left again? No, take a left and then take a right. Left, right, right. Because then we can do the weapon quest, we can do the mine, and then we can also do the optional NPC quest. And then probably do the last one? Like, go to the temple? Does that seem right? Left, right, right. Hey, look. Nope, stuck on a train. A box with scrap that I don't need. Alright, let's get that. Again, I don't need it, but I will collect it. We'll stop because it wants us to go right, but we want to go left. Alright. The tedium. It is much. And then we get to the other one and we go right. But also, there's a box here. Ugh, it's so far away. Could take our train in there, though. No, we'll keep it out here and I'll just lure everything over and shoot it all. You know what? It might be funny to rocket launch them all. As I think about it. Where is he going? Got him. Oops. Anyone else? They're all coming. They're all running down here. Anyone else? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, that was pretty great. I'll give it that. That was pretty lovely. Alright, where's the stuff, though? I would like the things, please. There's one of the weird masks. That's just explosives. Do I need to... I can hear Charles in the distance. I can hear Charles here. Kind of cool looking. Charles, I need you to go away, okay? I know I've, like, made a lot of noise. I've caused some issues. But that's locked. Where? Oh, look at all of them. I like that they're all different. This one's my favorite. The one with the goofy smile. Oh, there's a man down there. It's a man that I blew up. I just feel like I could have had so much fun with this game with, like, combat against the enemies that wasn't just train-based, you know? We've been digging for over a month, and I'm beginning to wonder what we're really doing here. There are ancient stone ruins above ground, as well as ruins being discovered underground. Some sort of temple in a large cavern was uncovered at one of the other mines. Are we really digging for gold veins? Hmm. It's fine. He has no idea I'm here, probably. Unless he does, in which case... Oopsies. Okay, can I... We've got a key. Somebody has a rock in their bed. Like you do. Let me back over here. Can I open that shed now? Or can I open... What's this? It's this one, right? Oh! Oh! Big gun! Very large gun. Okay, that's all we need to do there. And then we have a mine and an NPC quest. Or an optional quest. Why do I keep calling it an NPC quest? Optional NPC. Also, I'm curious. No. Dang. See that actually. Very good range. 3-5-2-2. Okay. Maybe that's what we stick with. Seems like the best overall. Can we do a stop here? In this horrible canyon? So I can Skyrim my way up this horrible hill? That's a Charles. Charles, please! Charles, please! You can't just keep knocking me around! He kept launching me into the air. Horrible. I just want to go over here. Charlie, Chuck, listen. We could be friends, though, is the thing. We could be BFFs. Why am I here? Hi, Nap. We did the pickle cave yesterday. There's no more pickle caves. How's it going, friend? How are you doing? That's locked, because of course it is. Oh, there goes my legs. They have exploded and are now dust. Hi.
Hey, aren't you the new guy
Hi,
who's
Ronnie.
come here to work for us?
No.
You must be. There's something at the top of these towers that I need.
Okay.
And don't worry, I won't make you work for free.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
do
a
a
nice enough guy to
rest.
pay
That's
you.
a long stream. Jesus
You
Christ.
see, Mr. Warren never told anyone from the mainland about his mining operation here. He never even reported the cave-in.
But I hope it was good. I hope you had fun. I mean,
He
you must
hasn't
have if you
paid us
went for
since
8
then.
hours.
Our living quarters are atrocious. And I'm far overqualified for the pay I'm supposed to receive.
Ugh.
To top it all off, none of us miners ever received copies of our paperwork. But that doesn't affect my
Paperwork?
subordinates as much as someone with my
Your what?
status.
Your paperwork? Excuse me?
I'm gonna sue the pants off of
Nice.
Warren once I escape this island, and I need those files to prove that he breached our contract.
Okay.
He keeps all his files at the top of these towers. I could explain how I ascertained this, but I doubt it would make sense to you.
Sir, frankly, Ronnie,
Problem is,
I don't care.
he erected these towers years before we ever started mining,
Erected.
and now they're falling apart.
All right.
I could scale them myself, but since you're here, as a reward...
Okay. Okay, stop talking to me. I need man to stop talking to me. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know that. Listen, we love Fruity here, right? I don't know that Fruity knows what they're doing all the time. As far as...
And that's a raw fact.
We adore them, but I don't know that I want to be launching myself into some trees. Okay, great. Why is everything locked? Where am I going? He wants me to go up, but I can't. There's not really any other way to go up. Oop. Wait, do you really just want me to, like... Oops. Crunchy! Poor legs. How... How the fuck? I can't hardcore parkour my way through here. It's impossible. Charles, you have to get lost. Oh, God. I can't get up here. And that's all closed. Going down didn't do me any good. I see. Nope. Nope. I see. Fucking hell. Man is too floaty. Give me that. How do I get back up? Honestly, I just kind of want to be done. This is horrible. You can't make me platform when the man's jump is as floaty as it is. And also the perspective is trash. Thank you. It's fine. We all know it's gonna be mediocre. I know this. You know this. Okay, Can I not be here anymore? That's a long way to jump. That doesn't feel great. And Charles is here. Well, the man that I'm supposed to be helping is vanished. I don't know where he went. Okay, well... Well, shattering her knees again. Ugh. Huh. This'll be interesting to get down from. I might just... I'm worried about yeeting myself off of the platform and just dying. Never mind, Charles has lost interest. I was gonna say, like, I would just jump off and, like, let myself die. But the concern is that I wouldn't have the items still.
Climbing those towers.
Whatever, dude.
I sure am glad I found these files.
You didn't find shit.
Here's that scrap you were begging for.
I also was not begging for scrap.
I'd spend it all in one place.
Annoyed. Okay, well, the mine is there. I'm so far away. We have enough scrap to just, like, heal for forever, right? Which I guess is nice. It seems unnecessary and very excessive at this point, but we'll take it. Charles, please. He's still lurking about. Where is my train? There is my train. Just shatter our legs again, just a little bit. Train is fine as far as health is concerned, and the next place that we need to go is right over here. Perfect. Where is he? The opposite direction of where I need to go. Perfect. He will catch up very quickly, though. Okay. Where? Here. The unfortunate part about this being where it is that if I get spotted, I'm gonna have to run a very far distance to get to the train in order to do a murder on cultists. Which, you know. Where? Can I just follow him? Oh! Okay. No. The answer is no, I cannot just follow him. Where's the other guy? Where is he? This is so annoying. Get me out of here. Is there another cultist in my way, or is that it? Have I done the gauntlet? There's more. Great. Perfect. Love it. I just don't want to be here. Hi, Fruity. You're not, listen, you're technically not late. You're never late Because who knows when I'm ever actually gonna start stream, you know?
Shouldn't be here!
I don't give a shit. I just wanna not be here anymore. We were sneaking.
Never came here.
I'm trying to pick it up. Here's the thing. Fuck, that's a dead end. I hate this. I hate this a lot, actually. Yeah, and I have to, okay. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do it. Okay. I just... The sneaking is so bad. It's so bad. Okay, we're gonna come over here, right? And we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop the train. And we're going in here? No, because that's not it. If I could do anything, I'll throw a briefcase. I'll throw a homing briefcase and take care of it. How's that sound? Yeah, I wish that there was literally, like, anything I could do. I might just run through. I don't know that I have the patience to sneak. It's bad.
Shouldn't be here.
You shouldn't be here.
We
How
got
you missed me?
company.
Oh, you did not miss me though. And there's a Charles outside. Bye. Idiots. Can't shoot down. Cultists can't look down. Oh, boy.
I'm gonna shoot you.
Probably. Shit, that's the wrong way again. This is also the wrong way. No, it's not. Bye.
Intruder.
You can't just have a man camping here! I don't know where my train is! Whatever. You know what? Fuck this guy. I need to check my map. I don't know where my train is. Nope. And there's a Charles now, too. Great. Love this. Yeah, just fucking end me. Take my scrap. I don't need it. I don't care. I got the stupid egg. Maybe that's why they give you so much scrap. I can do a hydrate. It's been hydrating a lot this stream, but I can do a hydrate. Thanks. Stupid game. That should be everything. We've done it all. Now to go do a big fight with Charles. Ugh, okay. Do that. Train, why'd you stop so far away? Go. You can stop like here-ish. And then we can finish this up. Is it really? Oh, has it been an hour already? My god. Is this where I need to stop? This is past where I need to stop. Oh well. It fine. You know what? I could rocket launch all these dudes away again. The boomer. Come here. Come here. Look at him running around. Like that somebody is still whistling despite all the explosions that are happening. They're going the wrong way? Where's that going? Whoa! Okay. Yeah, as long as they never come back. They're probably gonna, like, sneak up on me, though. Oh, there's the one guy. Hi, I'm here. No, they're coming back. Come here. Come here.
Beat it.
Sir? Oh my god. Okay. How's my train doing? Not great. I'm gonna get up here and somebody's gonna yell at me again. Yeah, there's more dudes up here. Oh, they actually did not give a shit. It's a very good train. I mean, it's a fine train. It'd be better if I could, like, do something with it more consistently. But, you know. I did notice when we started that it, like, has horns and stuff now, which I didn't notice yesterday. So I guess, like, given all the upgrades and stuff, it, changes the appearance a little bit.
Step away from the shrine, stranger.
No!
You don't know what you're doing. Just put the egg down slowly and lay flat on the ground.
Your suit's
You'll
ugly!
hurt far too many people if you follow through with whatever you're planning.
No! No! You fool! You doomed us all!
Hi, Charles. Oh, he big boy now. Well, we've done a thing. Okay, this has made up for it a little bit. Ouch! I need Bob. Okay, alright, okay, alright, okay, alright. Give me this back. Where did Charles go? Also, yeah, it's Hell Charles, which I love. Wow! Charlie, my boy. No, we'll go back to this. Charlie, Charles, Chuck, Bud. Whoa! We'll just keep repairing. Charles from heck. Where'd you go, bud? I just wish the game was more of this, like, consistently. This shit's fun. Like, it's simple, but it's just very, very silly, and I love it. Where he? There he. Alright, we'll do another repair. Charles! But you gotta stop going away. I need you to stay in place, okay? Alright. Oof! Ah! And he's done? Dang, look at him. Holy shit! Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Alright. More like fell Charles. It's true. It is. He did fall and he did die. Assumably, he is dead. I feel like he's gonna wake up or something. Charles, what are you doing? Charles. Not particularly important. I think they can do without having a train face, you know? What's happening? What's happening? New egg? New egg. Egg. Ooh. Many egg. Many Charles. Please don't make a second Choo Choo Charles. And if you do, make it just shooting trains. Okay, well we did it. well we beat Choo Choo Charles. Hey! Let me get out of here real fast. I'm missing one achievement? I haven't collected all the paint cans. You know what? That's fine. I can live with that. Okay, well we beat Choo Choo Charles in a little over an hour. And I was planning on streaming for like 2. So could find something else to do. Or we could just call it here. I don't know. I do need to use the restroom though. So maybe we'll do that real fast, actually. Yeah, let me go potty, and we can figure out what we're doing. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be right back, okay? Okay. Hi, Rini. It was a case chair. I had to go pee. But I'm back now. I would usually just throw on the BRB screen, but it wasn't gonna take me very long. The longest part is always just washing my hands. Been perceived so much. Genuinely haven't actually, like, I don't know. How are you doing though, Rini? How's it going? You're breaking right now? You're on break? Doing dinner things? We're just trying to figure out what to play next. If we want to play anything next. Because we beat Charles. Let me say as I eat an M&M. Hi! You wanna come here? My sweet stinky boy! It's a Devo! Hey, hi, Mo. Hi. Meow. Sweet baby. Nice! I'm so excited that, like, that got as much reception as it did. But also, it's a Devo. Hello. It's a little boy. It's my little baby guy. Yeah. So yeah, I've still been playing Rayman in my spare time. So we could do a little bit of Rayman. Hi. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Please don't lick my nose. Black cats on both monitors. Here, let's get even more cat up in there. Oh, look Look at this happy little face. You're a good, sweet baby, you know that? You're very heavy. So we can do a little bit, he do lick. He say, I love lick. So we can do some Raymond. What else? I got Valheim. But that's just me running around sailing right now. I'm just unlocking map. That's not particularly exciting. What else are we doing? What else do I have? I don't know. I didn't think... Thanks for the follow, Rainy. Not Croc. Please not Croc. Anything but Croc. I do the exact same thing though. There will be people whose like streams I'll like, I'm a massive lurker. I don't talk in a lot of streams, but I will like go and lurk in streams a lot, and the amount of times that I like forget to like actually follow folks, far too much. Let me see, what games do I have for my very legit PS2 and or PS1? No, we're just gonna do Raymond. That's all I can think about right now. Because I have lots of other levels to work on, except aside from that one level that actually feels like it's the end of the world to me because it's so bad. Let me plug this in just right quick, because this is what I play at night now. Either when I'm winding down for bed or while I am in bed. So my Switch wasn't connected. It's fine. And I guess I should probably open up my capture card or the capture program for the capture card. And turn everything down. Hi, Cyril. Hi. How's it going? I don't think there are any... Last time I looked, there were no content warnings for Rayman Legends. So I can't really update that. I'm not gonna bother with the game link or anything. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I lied. No, that's totally fine, Rainy. Go lurk. Go take care of yourself. Get food, sleep, nap, do your thing, okay? But thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Also, you just woke up from an accidental nap. Well, I hope it was a refreshing nap at the very least, because there's nothing worse than a non-refreshing nap. And Legends. I just want to link this dang game, that's all. Okay, usually I do the Steam link and list out where else you can find it, but I'm just doing the Ubisoft link because I can't be bothered with anything right now. Okay. We did shoot a train with a big gun and he fell on spikes. It is true. And it was exciting and nice. But yeah, I'm doing alright, you know? We're here. I'm excited. I need to switch my screen real fast so I can see what's happening. And also pause that so that I can come over here and do this. Hiccups. Hey. Oh, it turned off. That's why my screen didn't want to do the thing. That's why. I understand. Hopefully that's not too loud. Should be fine. Yeah, hi. This is what I've been playing for the last couple of weeks, and I'm nearing 100%ing it. Fruity. I did all the stupid music levels. The ones that are particularly horrible. Hold on. This actually seems kind of quiet. So we'll turn it up just a little bit. I did all these! No, don't actually go in there! But I did all of them. 100% at all of them. Because I'm just that good. What can I say? They were awful. The visual distortion on some of those, bad. This is the only one that I haven't finished, and it's that one level. That one level. I said it. We shot a train with big gun and fell on spikes. Fruity, please don't. Fruity, no. You know what? No. Here, actually, let's go. Let me show you how bad this level is. This is a level that I don't touch when I'm sleeping because it riles me up. It's horrible. It's awful. It's one of the speedrun levels. But it's the Dark Rayman speedrun level. So you have a Dark Rayman following your every move, but you also have to do a murder on a bunch of frogs in a timely fashion. Yeah, this is the one that made me go, I can't play this game anymore last night. Because I tried it for an hour and a half! I tried for an hour and a half, and I couldn't fucking do- I've already fucked it up. Here's the thing, I've already fucked it up. Don't even worry about it. Alright, under 11 seconds in that particular room. Only by 0.04 of a second, but hey. That's fine. No, ma'am, I need you to jump when I tell you to jump. It's a bad level. You have 40 seconds to get to the very end. There are 4 sections, and you can't progress to the next section until you've killed all the frogs. I got stuck on him. So basically, you can only take, like, 10 seconds per area. And I'm already doing it so bad because I'm on stream and people are witnessing me do it real bad. It's fine. You know what? And I've touched a Rayman. Yeah! Thank you, Free. I'm very bad at explaining everything. Especially while I'm in the middle of trying to do the thing. Okay. She didn't bounce that time! Why didn't she bounce? Usually when you hit the ground, when you ground pound the ground. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I've mentioned it previously, but I am pretty sure that this game will change when things show up by like a millisecond, so that it's always gonna be different. Also, that spin didn't make me go fast like it was supposed to, and I'm a little devastated about that, really. Ma'am! Basically, it's a real great game, and you should play it, but maybe don't buy it on the Switch, because the accuracy of the analog stick on the Switch is actual trash. Like, hot garbage. Would not recommend. I don't know why I keep purchasing these very, no. Man teleported off the thing. Yeah, I don't know why I keep buying these very, like, precise platformers for my Switch when I know that it's a bad idea. Anyway, I'm not gonna try this much more because I will lose my mind on stream. But, you know. Hey, okay, alright. 20.3, we're doing okay. Hold on. Pull up. No! That was the last one, though. And I might have been able to do it. Hold on. Wait. Maybe actually I can do it. Is this the run? God. Hey. Ah, shit! Ass! I got distracted because I saw Cyril was back. It's fine. Not the mobile lag. Well, I'm glad you're on desktop now. Hi, I love you. We are mad at frogs here. I'm so dang mad at frogs. Also, she didn't fucking spin like she was supposed to. Okay. No, we're getting through those first couple of rooms the way that we're supposed to. Hey. I'm happy that my friend Cyril is around. My friend Cyril, darling human being whom I love lots. Wait, no, ass, fucking piss. It's 2 seconds off. Because I got stuck on the fucking wall. No. You're so happy to Kayshurrr streaming. Hold on a minute. What if stream is just me trying to do this level? What if stream is just me stuttering nonstop because I don't know how to brain ever? I'm so happy to Kayshurrr streaming. Ma'am. 10.3. Not bad. Okay. Okay. Okay, but what if it was? No! Fuck! What is this? 0.
I am just so happy to Kayshurrr streaming.
So happy to Kayshurrr streaming! Thank you for the biddies, friend. I'm excited that my friend Cyril is here. 10.1, by the way, is how fast I got through that room. This is why I never want to be I don't want to be a speedrunner, ever, is the takeaway. No speedrun, ever. 10.1 again, okay. I can get through the first 2 rooms pretty alright most of the time. Shit, okay. That was terrifying. I thought Darkman was gonna get me. No, I missed! Again, they changed it. They changed it on me just enough that that it wasn't gonna work. Nope. Because it bounced that time. This lady just does whatever she wants whenever she wants. There's no consistency here. You cannot rely on her to do the same thing twice in a row. You bastard! I also don't like it that I get punished for going too fast. $10.1 again. That room, 10.1. Best I can do. No! Why did you miss? Please. I know I said I wasn't gonna do this a whole bunch, and yet here we are doing it a whole bunch. Because what if I did this level that's been cursing me for the last week on stream, and everyone could see that I did it. This impossible room. 19.9. Oh, 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 oh. Nope, 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 I fucked up. I wasted time. I'm not gonna get it. No, you actual idiot woman! No, no. It's true, I give room 1 a 10.1 out of 10. No, I did. This is fine. My will to live is leaving. 10.11 as opposed to 10.16. This is one of the few times where I like seeing number get smaller. 19.7. Oh, 27.8. Hold on. Focus mode. Cause no, you actual dumbass! Oh. She didn't do what I told her to do. 9.8? Excuse me? Honestly, if I could like manage to shave off a couple of seconds on those first rooms, 27.4, then I could manage, like I could afford to maybe fuck up in this one because I am going to always. No, 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 yes, no, yes, yes, yes! Fuck you, Rayman! I'm sorry, neighbors. I got real into it. Okay, we leave now. I never have to do that level ever again. Oh. Genuinely have been struggling with that one for the last 5 or 6 days. Oh. Thank you everyone for being here and witnessing me complete that. Actually doing it. With 0.3 seconds to spare. Look at that, though. Look at that, though. You love to see it. I do just want to do some of these bad levels, though, just to show off. Y'all want to see some trash? And we're just gonna do this because it's funny. Because it's funny. I did do Granny's on Tour in one try. My first try I managed to get it and it was horrible. Dragon Slayer is by far the worst though. I don't know why I've decided to do this. This was a bad idea. It's fine. Look at how bad it looks. I just need to remind myself that I am very good at things. That's all. There we go. And then we'll do an actual level, and then maybe call it there? We'll see. It's got like a half hour before the 2-hour mark. Listen, I'm just very happy right now. I don't have to do that level ever again. Thank you for the clip, Rudy. Listen, there was a lot of emotion happening in those moments, in those seconds. Get it, Cyril. I do like these levels. This one just sucks because it's all the visual distortion is bad. Fuck. I was too busy. Sorry, I got distracted thinking about Cyril shaking ass. Listen, it's been a whole thing. The whole point was to show off how cool I am. Let me do this one. This one I was having a hard time with, but I, like, got it now, I think. And it's just bad because it's all pixelated. That's not your stream fucking up. That's just what it looks like. No, I'm thinking about it. Cyril, I'm thinking about it. Dang. Just you wait. The pixelation gets worse. To the point that everything is just a bad blob. It's gonna be great. It's just a shame because it's such a good level and they ruined it by putting this horrible pixel filter over it. Cyril, please. Just does make it very funny because I can imagine you're all looking at this being like, I don't understand what any of this is. And yet here I am doing it. And it gets worse. Look. No! I got it. I got eaten by worms, I think. It's dragons. It's fine. We don't have... I just wanted to show that they look horrible. Actually, the pixelation one I think is the worst. This one has some pretty awful, horrible shit in it, though. I just want to show that, like, I 100%ed these. I got these done before I got that stupid speedrun one done. Yeah, yes it is. Yes it is, Fruity. And it goes upside down. It's fine. I didn't see what was happening because I was looking at chat. It's fine. It's horrible! I do kind of love this game, though. I think everyone should play Rayman Legends. I have to physically stop myself from saying Raymond every single time. And I don't think I will anymore. I think I'm just gonna lean into it. Hi, this is Raymond Legends. Never apologize. Nope, I did it again. It's fine. No, because I want to show off the million screens it turns into. It's fine. This one's less frustrating to me than that bad speedrun one. Because it's just stupid and silly. Yeah, everybody loves Raymond Legends. It's true. Okay, and then I jump and then I don't jump. But then I jump. This is so much easier to understand, like, on the small Switch screen, I will say. Hey! This is fine. Look, I found it. I found the rhythm. Don't be sick. It's fine. Yeah, it's not good. And yet, here we are. There we go. I did it. I wasn't even worried. We did it. And look, even the screen remains for the windscreen. This is what winning looks like. I just don't think any of you have ever won so well that you've seen what winning really looks like. No. All that easy peasy in comparison to that horrible speedrun level. But we've done it and I never have to do it again. Let's do an actual level. Let me do a real level now. You never... If this is what winning looks like, I do not want it. It is pretty horrible and kind of makes you want to vom a bit, you know. It's fine though. Look, it's regular levels from here on out. Everything looks normal and fine. We're not even worried about it. You know? Just a tiny vom. Just a little vom. Why are the clouds leaving me? Clouds, you're not allowed to leave. I guess it's fine. Oops. Oops. Ops! Ah! No! Lady! Okay, it's fine, actually. I'm pretty sure I have missed... Well, maybe I didn't. We found the secret thing. And everyone was very impressed. That should have hit him. Hey game, I think you got it wrong. That should have hit. That was my mistake. I fucked that one up. Listen, I'll own up to it when I've made the mistake. I've just not made the mistake up until now. So, you know. Fine. Can I get up there? No. No, I cannot. Ooh. Ooh. No, lady. This is fine, actually. Look, I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Hi, Smiley. Welcome back, friend. Whee! Let's do a nice little clench for me, you know? Sweet little... Oh! That's fair. I hope your drive was nice, though. It's true! I don't know why. Seems a little weird to me. No, it's because I'm a fucking delight. That's why. Well, come on in. Come hang out with friends. But also, I'm glad your drive was nice. Oh, I fucked that one up. It's fine. Buddy, buddy, pal, friend. Nope. Fucked that up, but that's fine. Hey, lady? You want to attack the things that I want you to attack, maybe? Nope. You need to come back. You need to stop going away. I panicked for a moment because I thought that I was supposed to jump back on the little snake. Little snack guy. Hi. Give me that. We're doing great, actually. Fuck! It's fine. It's fine! Get me out of here. Ugh. Ah! 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 It's fine. Look. I stay right here. Also, okay, I've got all the teensies so far. We're doing great, and I think I've got enough lums. Yeah, I stay right here. I'm not going nowhere. Listen, it was dangerous elsewhere. Okay? It was scary. 100% of the level. Let's go. One more? Do we want to do one more? Let's do one more. Let's do just one more. You know? Yes, we can. These ones are easy peasy. Look at that. Look at that. 6-0. It's true! My favorite thing about these levels is that they are also not frog hell, and that makes me really happy. No! Smiley. Wait. It's bad over there. Understood. It's one of these! And mosquito. Give me those. Give me those. You just spawned on top of my head. Okay, well, listen. Now we know. Maybe don't fly ahead super fast. because things will jump on your face. And it won't be fun. And you won't like it, and it'll be quite upsetting, actually. Okay. Yeah, it does that a lot. I do got a suck button, too. I sucked a guy. Suck is why, in case you were wondering. It's my suck button? You know, the button to suck a man. I said what I said. No, I will not be rephrasing it. Okay. It's fine, actually. We're doing great. That seems not great, though. We do like Big Bullet here. Big Suck Bullet. I'm sorry. Not that sorry, but sorry enough. Hey, do you wanna shoot those? Thanks. Here, I suck. Well, I will in a minute. Okay, you know what? It's fine. We don't need to be over there. No! The screen got in my way. Give me that. I suck! I can only suck one. Only one at a time. Understood. There we go. I should stop, I think, is the takeaway here. You can suck whatever you want, just not too many at a time. I think we have different definitions of bye here, Smiley. Listen. Get me out of here. Oh, I shot someone. Something? Hi. And then we have the last one at the end of this loop. Yes, thank you, chatbot, for the prompt reminder that this is an 18+ space. Yeah. It's, I mean, listen. I don't know what I'm doing here. Everything's moving very quickly. Ah! Ah! I'm scared. I'm scared. It's fine. You know what? It's fine. I wasn't that scared, actually. I don't know that I have enough lums. I don't have enough lums. Hey, game. Where can I get more lums? I think I'm gonna have to do that one again. Because I fucked up. It's not 100%. It's not 100%. I can do that on my own time, though. Let's scratch some tickets. Well, now you give me lums. Raymolk. Excuse me? And we get a little guy. I think this is probably it for today, though. Excuse me. Because I do need to make some dinner. Or at least get something to eat. Yeah, right? Hey, previous level that we were just on. You want to take some of these lums that I just got? I don't mind redoing these ones. They're pretty easy. It's just slightly annoying when you're very close. I did one level, and I don't remember which one it was at this point. But, I needed 300 lums to, like, 100% it, and twice in a row, I got 299. I do remember which one it is. It's the bad flower boss. But, you know, it's fine. Can I collect my challenge stuff now? But yeah, I think that's probably all we're gonna do for today. We beat Charles, and I beat that one bad level. Hey, gold cup. Bronze cup. We're not gonna talk about that bronze cup. But yeah, I beat the one bad level in Raymond, and we beat... My brain is shutting down. It's fine. And we beat the Choo Choo game. Yeah. What is this one? It looked like a bad skin. It's a bad skin. But I have to touch it in order to get rid of the new notification. We did beat Charles and Raymond. Thank God. They have been defeated. Yeah, I'll try and figure out what we're gonna do next. I don't know what game. No, stop telling me about the challenges. I know that they're there. I don't know what we're gonna do next. I know that, you know, RE4 comes out on the 24th. And that's as far as I have planned. And I didn't plan for anything in between. So we'll figure it out. But for now, let's find somebody to raid. What we got online? You know who we have online right now? Stars. Stars is online. And we love Stars here. So I'm not taking any suggestions. And we're gonna go raid Stars. Alright. Yeah, Stars! Thanks y'all for being here and for hanging out and just being wonderful, lovely friends. I adore y'all. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. There may or may not be a stream on Friday, we'll see. And then I think if Rudy is still up for it, we'll do some Resident Evil 4 this weekend. But we'll keep you posted on what's going on. Until then, take care of your dang souls. I love y'all. Have a good rest of your time zone. And, yeah. You're gonna spin kick Alright, Resident Evil 4 this weekend. Let's fucking go. But yeah, I love y'all. And we'll see you next time. Bye, friends!